In this episode 61 of the Daily Hustle, we are diving into the 4 steps that you need to master to become a sales machine. Also, Marshall just really nails it on this one.
Broadcasting from the box that rocks and Thrive15.com world headquarters, it's the Daily Hustle with Daniel McKenna.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is episode 61 of the Daily Hustle Show. To my left, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. And in this topic section today, we're talking about mastering these 4 steps to becoming a sales machine. Marshall, how are you doing today?
I'm doing spectacularly, and specifically, this episode ain't for no scrubs. I promise you that. You have got to really be diligent to execute this, and if you do diligently execute this, this will produce copious amounts of profit for you and your business.
Potentially, we will retitle this later to this Ain't for No Scrubs.
Yeah.
Because that is a more interesting name than master these 4 steps to become a sales
potentially.
machine. But I guess that title kind of is more indicative of what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Okay. This episode is number 61. Marshall, I couldn't find any professional athletes, which I thought 61 was like super interesting, you know? Mm-hmm. So we're just going to talk about the number 61.
Okay. The number 61 in general.
If you Google, what is the meaning of 61? This is what comes up. It says, number 61 is a number of introspection and family. It is studious, mentally sharp, and resonates with balance and harmony. The energy the number 61 represents tends to be nurturing of family and close friends.
Did it say suggested for you? Did you mean what is the meaning of life?
No, I don't know. This is just what popped up. Top result on Google.
Okay.
This is what 61 means.
I respect that.
I have no idea what that's about.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that the year 61, AD 61, was a common year starting on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. So now you've got that in your back pocket. Trivia. If it ever comes up, what day of the year did the year 61 start in? Marshall can be like, it was a common year. It started on Thursday. It started on Thursday, and it's talking about introspection and family.
That's amazing.
I don't know what any of that means. Let's move on to mastering these 4 steps to become a sales machine. Marshall, before we dive into this, why is this so important for entrepreneurs, for salespeople? Why is it so important for them to fully grasp and fully spend time on to master?
Because most business owners went into business because they were really good at whatever it is that they do. Okay, maybe they didn't begin the business with the thoughts of scaling the business, okay? And so what we're having to do is implement these sustainable workflows and systems, these processes, so that you can scale the business beyond you just doing it yourself. And so you must have a process or a system for whichever business workflow or area of the business that you want to scale beyond yourself. So if you want to hire somebody else to sell for your company, do the sales system, you got to have a sales system. And so that's what we're talking about here, is creating a baseline, creating a sustainable system in which you can hire other people to actually implement it. Or if you choose, hey, I just want to do the sales myself, this is actually going to increase quality. This is going to increase consistency. This is going to increase your success rate of actually doing sales. Okay. So I'm pretty passionate about this sales system, and I think we're going to help a lot of people.
Fantastic. Let's go ahead and dive in to step number 1 here. Step number 1 of the 4 steps you must master. Step number 1, establishing rapport. Rapport. What is rapport? Rapport is an emotional bond or friendly relationship between people based on mutual liking, trust, and a sense that they understand and share each other's concerns. Before we get into how we do this, why is this so important? Why is this the first process of becoming a sales master? Why, every time you get into a sales situation, why is establishing rapport the first step?
Yeah, establishing rapport is super duper important. Because I don't know, have you ever had a salesperson call you? Have you ever had that?
It has happened to me before, yes.
Hey, maybe it's they make you feel a little weird. You know, if you feel like they're kind of like lurking, or they're kind of like, I don't know, they just like they're they make you feel uneasy.
Sure.
Yeah, they're going around. And it's kind of like they're creeping. They're, so he doesn't know. So you're going around and they're like creeping. They're trying to deceive you. Okay, that's not how you want to build rapport.
Okay.
Okay. So what you have to do is the purpose of rapport is you have to develop the customer or the potential buyer so that they either trust or they like you. Humor is a great way to achieve both of these things.
Okay.
Okay. People want to buy from people that they like. Okay. And people like people that are funny. Now, there's a lot of different kinds of humor. That's a big topic, a big discussion that we can get into a little bit in greater detail. We probably devoted an entire episode just to how to develop humor for the rapport section of your sales process. But the best way to develop rapport is humor and talking about the potential buyer, allowing the potential buyer to talk about themselves, enabling them to talk about themselves, because this is setting the baseline. It's kind of like a padlock, okay? A padlock with a bunch of different numbers. You can't move on to the next number. You can't actually, the combination of unlocking them so that they will buy from you, you can't move on to the next one unless you have first developed rapport. It is the cornerstone for your sales system.
Rapport is a thing that will, once you establish it, will allow the person you're selling to take down those walls, to take down that defense, right?
That's right.
If you're being sold to, someone is selling something to you, you immediately are like, oop, and you're like, oh, I'm just here looking. I'm just here looking, because like your natural reaction is just to only want to buy when like I specifically am ready to hand over the credit card.
Yeah.
The problem with that for you as a salesperson is there's like, I believe in the book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, it said there's about 3% of people who are currently ready to buy now. 3%.
Yeah.
That are like, I came here with my credit card ready to buy. Not to like find out more information, not to learn, not to think about it, but to buy.
Mm-hmm.
So unless you are able to get those walls down, you're only going to be able to get to 3% of the people that are ready to buy now.
That's right.
And that doesn't even take into consideration like your competition. They might be ready to buy the shoe, but why are they going to buy the shoe from you instead of somebody else? So establishing rapport is what's going to let them lower those walls. Oh, this other person's a human? I kind of like this person. This person has something in common. We can have a conversation, and it's not purely based on only how much does this shoe cost. Mm-hmm. So one way to do that is to ask great questions. Ask great questions. Use these questions to make a connection, to find common interests, and so you can get personal as fast as you can, get in their world. What is this is from the book Ultimate Sales Machine. This is from Chet Holmes here. What is he talking about here, Marshall? What are the great questions, and why does he say to get personal as fast as you can?
Yeah, so if you own a dog training business and you want to develop rapport with the person that you're talking to, or they call you up, hey, I'd love to learn about your service, you got to ask them about the thing that they are most passionate about, okay? And what is the one thing that dog owners are more passionate about than themselves?
Dogs.
Their dogs.
Right.
Dogs and their dog. Because most people, they have their own personality for the dog. They have the special kibble that they feed the dog. They have all of these different dog accoutrements. My mom is one of these dog people. And so developing a rapport, okay, with them about their dog, it enables them to talk about the things that they are comfortable talking about, the things that they are passionate talking about. So an example of this would be, okay, I understand that you saw us on Google. Tell me, what's your dog's name? Maybe immediately that doesn't help you towards a closed sale in terms of understanding the type of service they want, but it helps you connect on a personal level with that person. Okay, what kind of dog is it? What is the name of the dog? Where did you get the dog? How long have you had the dog? How old is the dog? Asking all of those personal questions that actually develops a connection with the potential buyer.
And those questions will bring up answers from the client that you're hoping will give you a chance to find some common ground. Mm-hmm. So you might say, I'm a dog training service. Tell me about your dog. Well, my dog's going crazy. It digs up everything I planned. It always poops in the house. It doesn't come when I call. And now I have some ammo of which to find some common ground. Now I have something, you know what? Isn't that crazy? My dog used to not come at all. My dog, in fact, let me tell you a story. This is crazy. My dog used to run away specifically when I would call it. It would do this thing, and you could start talking about, you can find some common ground that they can relate to you, and now we're establishing the rapport. We're establishing that bridge. Other things he talked about, having a sense of humor. You mentioned that. He talked about how misery loves company. So there's some people that just want to complain. There's some people that are just like, and he says, just listen and essentially agree with them.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah, that is the worst. You're being empathetic. You're caring about them, right? Like, you're establishing that bridge, establishing that rapport. So then once you get to the actual details, now it's more like, oh, we're friends here. I like this guy, as opposed to this sales guy is telling me about these facts. Establishing rapport. Marshall, we talked about getting it personal as fast as you can, about having humor, about being empathetic and caring. These aren't always natural human elements that you're naturally good at, right? I mean, didn't mean you specifically. I meant just humans.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying
that was a dig.
Marshall is not good at humor.
That was a dig.
So how do I get better at that? How do I go about starting to master establishing rapport? We talked about asking great questions. So some of those are going to be just trial and error, asking questions and seeing which ones start to connect with people, right? How else can I get better at establishing rapport?
Couple things. Number one, you must use a script. You have to write all of this down on a script. We are helping you create the sales system, and that involves writing out all of the questions on the script, okay? So when you're reading from it, you're not allowing yourself to get derailed and go off on these different tangents. Rather, you have a script, so you say the words that are physically on the piece of paper, okay? So one, create the script. Number two, you have to have the script printed off in front of you whenever you're making your sales calls, okay? You have to have it in front of you because nobody can be expected to just memorize everything that they're supposed to be saying. You have to do this because you have to be able to refine the script as you continue. You said trial and error. So if you're going to do the method of trial and error, you have to be able to articulate where it is working and where it is not working. Immediately when you first write your script, you will have some really bad jokes, some jokes that just don't work. I've been through it. I know that you've been through it. Yep. We've talked about it. We've empathized with each other about our bad jokes. But you have to articulate what hits and what misses. And if you don't do that, then you'll just continue to perpetuate this really, really failed script, okay? The next thing is you have to read the script 50 times for every version. You have to read it not just in your mind, but out loud, because how you say it out loud and how people talk, that natural communication, that natural way of verbalizing things, it comes out much differently than when you're writing it down on a piece of paper or you're writing it down, you're typing it up, okay? So you have to actually verbalize exactly what it's being said, and you have to practice it. You don't get better at something that you don't practice. So you have to just practice and practice and practice. Get a friend, get a colleague, get an unbiased just bystander in Walmart. You find somebody and you just practice 50 times for every version of the script. And then lastly, you've got to record your calls. The best way to get better and understand what you sound like on the phone is to actually record those calls, okay? So there's different apps that are available, a couple iPhone apps, Android apps that you can just upload to your phone, and then you just open them up every time you're making a phone call and it records the call. Or if you want to get more of a telecom system integrated with your office, you go to celeritytelecom.com, you look them up, they can record your calls, or 8x8 phone recording system. These are different phone systems that are built to be able to do things like that, but the integration of that call recording system is so important, because if you want to get better, you have to schedule time to actually listen to these recorded calls if you want to get better at the practicing the empathy and practicing how you come across, practicing the tone of what you sound like on the phone.
I thought you had a lot of really specific, really good stuff there. I'll be honest.
Thank you.
I thought you did. I thought the nuances of saying a script out loud is huge. Mm-hmm. So that way you're not like, hi, Sam, an emotional bond or friendly relationship between people based on mutual liking. And then he knows, oh, the dude's just reading a script.
That's right.
As opposed to, hey, Sam, You know what, man? What we feel like here is we just feel like the emotional bond and just friendly relationship between people based on a mutual liking. I just feel like, right, it comes across a lot more sincere. It comes across a lot more like I'm a human, and a lot less like I'm reading point by point off of this script, off of this list.
Yeah.
I thought role playing was huge. I thought role playing with somebody else, because you in your mind might be like, oh man, this joke is awesome. Or, oh man, when I say this one thing, it's going to be great. And then when the person hears it, they're like, oh my gosh, why'd you say that? You immediately made me feel super weird. Mm-hmm. Right? Just getting those reps in, refining the script, recording your calls. That's all really, really big. And yeah, it takes a lot of time. And yeah, it takes diligence and it takes determination to say, I'm going to keep getting better at this. Right? It's not just I'm going to read this script and see what happens. I'm going to keep getting better at this. I'm going to keep mastering this. And I'm just proud. Getting choked up over here. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Okay, that was establishing rapport. Step number 1. Step number 2 here, Marshall. Qualifying the buyer. Qualifying the buyer / finding the need. What are we talking about here, Marshall? We're talking about qualifying the buyer. We just did rapport. Now we are on to what some people might call qualifying the buyer.
So people will not buy unless they have a need, okay? So it's your job to help them either identify or create the need for them. What is the need, okay? People talk about this need, okay? What the need means is what is the pain point that I am experiencing? What is the pain point that the buyer has currently? Or what is the gain? What do I stand to gain from doing business with you? So what is the pain or the gain? That's what we're talking about when we talk about the need. Because not every product is a necessary product. I don't need a Rolex watch. I'm not in pain because I don't have a Rolex. I'm not in pain. But I could stand to gain something. You talk about somebody who's in the market for a new watch. Well, what do I stand to gain if I get a Rolex versus, a Mickey Mouse watch?
No, it's probably better made. It's probably looks a lot cooler. You probably get some self-esteem out of the deal. Maybe you get some you get to kind of show it off out of the deal, right?
Yeah. So you have to understand that the people that we're talking to are emotional creatures. And so we have to find that hot button. We have to find this need. We have to find this pain that they're experiencing. And if we can't find it, we must create it. We must create it. And when you're creating it, that becomes a little bit nuanced. But we're going to show you guys how to specifically ask the questions in order to get there.
So specifically, to give you some clarification on this, for the photography business, questions we would ask you, you came up and you said, how much do you charge? We would say, great question. First question. We'd say, great question. When's your big day? And it's going to be August the 8th. Okay, cool. Where are you guys getting married at? What's the venue? We're going to be at this place right here. Cool. Do you know how many guests are going to be there? Oh, well, it's going to be like 150 people. Okay, so what did that help us do? Number 1, we qualified, said they're a real person, meaning that they're actually looking to buy. They're not just shopping around, right? They're looking to buy. They've got a date picked out, which is for this industry is the number 1 thing, right? Got to have a date picked out. They've got their venue picked out, and based off of that venue, I now I'm getting closer to knowing what their budget is going to be like, right? If they're going to be at the Mayo Hotel, I realize these people probably have money. These people are probably looking for something super high quality and don't mind spending money for it. Or this is going to be a private residence. Okay? These people are still probably looking for quality, but price probably matters to them a lot more. You're starting to qualify the buyer, right? How many guests? 250, 150. Cool. Well, I know if they're going to have 250 people at their wedding and they're going to spend $20, $30, $40 a plate, they've got a budget, right? And I know it's an intimate thing. It's going to be 20 people, just family and stuff. I know they're not trying to spend a ton of money on their wedding. They want it to be a small deal. They want it to happen. They want, they want the memories of it, but they're not looking to spend the normal 25 grand that people spend on weddings.
That's right. Now, it's an important point that's a part of this need creation process is the rapport section is for building rapport.
Right.
Okay. That's your opportunity to enable them. During the needs section, it's your job to find or identify that need. So don't be going down on these tangents. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Don't be doing, don't be like enabling them to start talking about things that don't advance your cause. Okay. Stay on topic to the things that you need to know in order to create that need within them that's related to your product or service.
Okay. So after asking those type of questions, then we start identifying their need, right? We're starting to qualify the buyer, trying to figure out the better idea of what it is they're looking for, how I'm going to pitch my pitch, what I can push them towards, trying to find their hot button, right? So now we're trying to find their hot button. We're creating desire, and then we're going to start pressing on that pain point. Marshall, go ahead and talk about creating the desire here, finding that need.
So when you're creating desire, Orrin Claff talked about this in the book Pitch Anything. There's different ways to create desire. One is different market trends, educating them about the facts of the market where this is going to be a great buy, and it's important that you make this purchase because this is not necessarily the deal, but the market has allowed a lot of things to come into alignment so that it's the market is right. The market is designed for you to be making this purchase right now, and it's using these facts to get them emotionally riled up. It's getting them intrigued. It's getting them, oh my gosh, I'm in the best position to buy right now. It's helping them understand that they have this want or this desire. It's finding that hot button and helping them. In fact, you know what? You're absolutely right for wanting 2 photographers for a long period of time for your wedding. You want 2 photographers, long period of time, and you don't want to wait for the photos. In fact, the market data shows that most brides, they get their photos back in 3 to 6 months. The Knot.com says 3 to 6 months. You're absolutely right. That is an important thing for you. And they're like, that's right. I want something better than the market. I want to be better than average. Okay. So it's using facts and market trends to actually showcase what they are saying, what they are wanting is expected. And then it tees up the ability, it tees up your benefits that you're going to bring in here in the next section.
I love it. You were talking about too about creating that desire, like you were bringing up something they didn't even realize was a problem, using market statistics, market industry facts, saying you didn't even know this is a problem, but it's going to be 6 months, 8 months before you get your stuff back. Typically, with us, you get it back in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
I'm like, I didn't even know that was an issue, and now I realize that's a big issue. So the 2 ways you can do that are a series of questions that intensify their need from their perspective. Remember, it's their perspective, intensifying their need from their perspective, or presenting killer data that motivates your buyer to take action now. Remember that buyers will be a lot more motivated if their current situation becomes unacceptable.
You have to help them understand that it is unacceptable to continue to remain where they currently are.
People will move faster to solve a problem than they will to gain an unrealized benefit. So you did talk about the unrealized benefit. Did you know about this?
Yeah.
This is something you could gain. But people are going to move a lot faster to solve a problem. Like, this is a problem. I now have to. I have no choice. I have to do this.
That's right.
As opposed to, oh, this is a luxury, this unrealized benefit. I could also have this.
I need that Rolex watch. It's going to make me crazy, sexy, cool.
That is going to be more important, creating that problem, than saying, oh, did you know as a byproduct you also get to look crazy, sexy, cool? I want to create that need, that problem, as opposed to, oh, and also as an extra benefit, right? Once you've shown the problem, you're going to paint the picture about why your product or service solves that problem. So that was Rapport and Needs. Rapport and Needs. And that was the first 2 steps of becoming a sales machine.
I love that.
In the next episode, episode 62, we will close out the series with the benefits and the close, and we might even do a little bit of the deal wheel.
Ooh,
overcoming objections.
That's the hot sauce.
Kind of a big deal.
That's the hot sauce.
That was episode 61, part 1 of Master these 4 steps to become a sales machine. Over to my left, Marshall F. Morris. Over here, Daniel McKenna. We will see you next time on episode 62 of The Daily Hustle.